Hey everybody. So we're going to do a review. This is January 26th. Obviously, there's no audio going here, so we're just going to be looking at just a few things. Stage presence. I want to look at just kind of how the whole thing is coming together, communication wise, and what we were saying, particularly with body language and everything. So here we go. We're starting off first song. This is our God. So just in this one scene here, seeing a lot of the choir looking up, looking around, looking like they're engaging pretty well with the congregation. Taking cues well. Everybody's in when they're supposed to be, stopping out when they're not. Jenny looks really happy to be there. That's good to see. Uname's having some fun. Overall, looks pretty well. Looks pretty well. That's not a proper sentence. Okay. Do want to point out something here choir wise. There's a little bit of motion. There's a little bit of movement, a little bit of swaying back and forth, which is good. This is we want to translate some energy into the songs that we're singing, and um, there we go. Got some guys belting it out there. I like it. So the only thing choir wise I would recommend is that maybe we have a little bit more um, body language interaction. I know that we're fighting space, particularly on the back row, but there's not a whole lot of motion going on, not a whole lot of physical expression going into the song on the back row. So, and that I think maybe is some of the difference between like the concept of worship choir and more of a like traditional choir. In the traditional choir, you're uh, kind of static in motion. It's very um, stand still and that sort of thing. Whereas in this worship dynamic, it is perfectly acceptable. I would say even encouraged. Move around. Your congregation is taking cues off of you, whether you are lead vocal or not. They are taking their cues from us as a team that hey, it's really okay to enter into worship here. It's okay to be expressive. It's okay. Like we're talking about King Jesus, right? That's the lyric that's going on right there. He bore the cross, he beat the grave. These are all things that should invoke a sense of joy and reverence in us. And we want to make sure that the words that we say and the things that we communicate with our bodies, with our faces, actually they match, that they're cohesive. Quick little speaking part there, moving in the goodness of God. From worship leader perspective, on that previous song, just real quickly, uh, loved having the dynamic of having the choir up there. Made it really really big on particularly on the bridge. Loved that. That was fantastic. So great job there. especially on the the he dids and the Yahwehs, um, just building that up in the in the course of the song through those dynamics, and really kind of helped to draw out of the congregation like this big anthem. Um, really, really good stuff. A little bit more of a subdued song here in Goodness of God. Now it does pick up, and I thought that you guys, all band, choir, everybody did a great job kind of flowing in and out of those dynamics. See Uname back there singing along, love it. Will say for my own critique here, I'm looking down a little bit more at the iPad than what I would like. So just for all of us instrumentalists, as much as we're able to, not staring at our iPads, they're a good tool to have. But as much as we're able to, being able to look up and engage with the congregation, not kind of getting so zeroed in on the sheet music in front of us that we forget that we're in a room with the remainder of the congregation. So we're on the bridge here. It's building, it's building, it's building. Love the hands raised. Uname still back there, just loving it, jamming away. There's some expression, a lot of good expression, a lot of movement in the choir. First two rows in particular, moving back and forth and back and forth, just kind of swaying with the music, and that's perfectly fine. I know again we're a little tight on space, so we work with what we got. Um, but overall, these first two songs, very pleased in the overall amount of just physical visual communication. I do want to, I'm going to keep looking at these with the audio muted because, when we're talking about live stream, it's hard to know exactly what it sounded like in the room based off of the live stream. We just don't have the personnel or the technology to nail a mix, and have it sound exactly like it would live. But um, for the purposes of this, like we're really just kind of dialing in on what we're communicating through the way that we're presenting our worship here, how we're inviting our congregation into worship with us. So I see lots of smiles, I see movement on the stage, and that movement translates to energy and an invitation for the remainder of the congregation to join us as we worship God. So overall, very, very pleased here. Excellent job with both the band and choir of kind of falling in. We tagged that bridge one last time. That was not a scheduled thing. That was a little bit of an improv. So good job following along, picking up the part, rolling right into it. That was great. I like that wide angle shot too. You can see the like our congregation is engaging here with this worship as well. You know, it's not just we're not doing the whole goldfish thing. We don't have a bunch of people staring at us like we're in a fishbowl. Um, so yeah, overall, great job. I enjoyed the platform presence. I enjoyed seeing the motion and everything like that. Wonderful. Probably could have cut out the 30 seconds worth of prayer and intro from that, getting straight into it. All right, we're moving into the choir piece. Get all my stuff out of the way. All right, the majesty and glory of your name. Now, as we're beginning here, this question I would pose as somebody who does not have a ton of experience or exposure to a traditional choir. So, is what is the driving factor, the need of having the choir song pieces in front of you when the choir did such a beautiful job in helping to lead the congregation in the previous two songs? I see, and I guess my that question comes from I see several people who are they're holding their books open, but not really looking down or looking down very seldomly at those books. Their eyes up, they're keeping an eye on Mary Ann and watching her for direction. And really that question comes from this desire to engage with the congregation in a similar way, have these choir pieces be participatory rather than experiential. We have a pretty significant difference, and I'm hoping that we go to maybe a wide angle shot here again. Maybe we can get a look at the uh, the congregation and their level of interaction. But from where I was sitting and where I was just kind of observing things, waiting to give Anna her cue of when to come up and begin announcements. We went from singing while standing to sitting and watching, and it's a real big dynamic shift from the congregational perspective. So my question here is, what is the purpose? What is the end goal of the choir piece? Just another point of observation here. So you see very little movement. I'm not seeing a ton of expression. Um, and that could be just because everybody's very, very, very focused on their particular part. So I'm trying to look at this, maybe as much as I can from the perspective of the a congregation who maybe has not grown up in a church where choir has been a big part. So how do we take these beautiful songs that are so lyrically rich and use them to engage our congregations in a worshipful way, in a way that invites them in to participate in the worship of God rather than observe um, a group of highly talented and highly gifted individuals offer up, a sacrifice of worship. Or does the congregation just see this as a performance piece that, we sit, we observe, we clap a little bit at the end, and call it good? All right, final song. This is the closing. Yes, I will. That stage looks empty up there without the choir. I think I definitely like it better with the choir up there. It just looks fuller, more energy on the stage. Looking down at that iPad too much again. Quick little note while it's in my head, um, just for everybody's information, um, with the uh, with the cameras the way that we have them, the white balance is hard to strike. So shirts, and clothing in general should not be a white or a light gray. It just burdens out the irises and makes it difficult to focus in. So it makes everything look super super dark in contrast. So Uname is not too bad. Shayna probably should try to wear something maybe a little bit darker in color, um, just in the future. Shayna, good expression there. Again, I like the hands raised. I like the chin up. I would encourage maybe just a little bit more eyes open and even making contact, eye contact with individuals in the congregation. And that's something I think that we all need to work on just a little bit, continuing to keep that chin up a little bit. That's a fast fade out. Jake, for you, buddy, I would say let's work on again, chin up, looking out, looking. I know we get so focused on what we're doing and playing all the notes right. Um, and sometimes we kind of get lost in our own little world. We get so focused on the technical side of things. Um, don't be afraid to look up, to smile, to really just kind of worship God with your face. Maybe that's a weird sentence, but um, there's joy in what we're doing. Don't be shy about letting that come out. All right, closing prayer. That's that'll be just about everything for this particular one. So overall, very pleased. Great job, everybody. Some things that we can work on, but we'll keep plugging at it.